I'm Matt Bouchard with REIT.com here in Boca Raton, Florida for REITWise 2014. Joining me today is John Divers, the COO and CFO of Community Development Trust. John, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Matt.
I'd like to start by talking about CDT's capital raising activities, which I understand were very strong last year. What factors have driven those results, and what's your outlook for 2014?
Well, Matt, CDT is a private REIT, and capital raising has been important to us over the years since our inception. Typically, we raise capital through our private placement offerings. We've done a variety of capital raises normally in the $40 to $50 million range. We've had several common stock raises. We also had a convertible preferred stock raise. And presently, we're in the midst, and actually it's not closed yet, on a straight preferred stock raise. So unfortunately, I'm not allowed to talk about that raise in detail because of the security regulations. However, one area that I am allowed to talk about is a recent award that CDT received, which is a $125 million bond guarantee award from the CDFI Fund, which is part of the Department of Treasury. This will provide or make available to CDT $125 million of long-term funds, 30-year money at very attractive rates. Lastly, we just recently signed a participation agreement with a major insurance company to be providing long-term funds for us also under our, we call it our AB structure. We purchase mortgages, and the insurance company as a long-term investor would get the A piece, and we maintain a B piece on our books.
And you recently closed on your first New York City investment. Can you talk about why now was the time to enter that market, and what that means for the company?
Well, Matt, the affordable housing markets don't run in sync with the commercial real estate markets across the country. Typically, we're ready to buy affordable housing projects to preserve them at any time in most of the markets. Last May, we acquired a property, a 360-unit property in the Coney Island section of Brooklyn. It was a $52 million project with a $12 million rehab budget. While we had the property under contract, Hurricane Sandy hit the Northeast, and this property actually sustained a little bit of damage to the exterior as well as some damage to the elevators. Our rehab budget of $12 million will make this property more energy efficient as well as resilient to future storms. The energy efficiency side is we're converting the property from electricity to gas throughout the property, so that's a major effort and the major part of our budget. Another important aspect of this acquisition was it brought together many of the major community investment organizations in New York State and New York City. In fact, we actually, in addition to CDT's $10 million of equity, we have a $30 million acquisition loan from the New York Acquisition Fund, a $4.5 million loan from New York HPD, which is Housing Preservation and Development Corporation, a Bank of America energy loan, a grant from the Borough of Brooklyn office, as well as retaining a long-term commitment for a 30-year mortgage from that's guaranteed by Sunny Mae, the major mortgage organization in New York, and funded by the New York City Employee Retirement System. So it really brought together a lot of the entities in New York that are involved in the community development area.
And lastly, I'd like to go back to something you mentioned in the first answer about the Treasury's CDFI bond guarantee program. CDT was awarded more than a third of the amount that they handed out. How do you think that the company was able to secure such a large percentage, and what does it mean going forward?
Well, we'd like to think it was based on our financial strength. CDT is probably one of the best capitalized CDFIs in the country. And in addition, the original plan for the fund was to come out with a $500 million offering. However, it was a very complicated application process, underwriting process, and each entity had to present a very detailed plan as to how they were going to use the money and over what period of time. Luckily, CDT was able to meet these requirements of the plan and receive the largest grant under the program.
John, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Matt.
For more on this and other news and information, please be sure to visit REIT.com.